Hey guys, what's up? This is Jeremy Andrews. I am the owner and the program director and the founder of Alternativechicago.info. Wow. Today is July 31st, 2011. About 1 month ago today, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't know, I heard the news that a radio station that I grew up with, that was a major part in everybody's lives, it was called Q101, it was in Chicago, was sold to a company by the name of Merlin Media. Now, I knew the station was up for sale, but I didn't know that a company owned by Randy Michaels himself, who was not a very nice guy, if I do say the least, was going to buy the radio station. And immediately upon learning that he was buying the radio station, we also learned that he was going to change it to a news radio station. And yesterday, or I believe it was Friday the 29th, they finally made their transition to all news, and Fresh 105.9 is going all news tomorrow to simulcast WBBM. With that in mind, my goal, once hearing that, I immediately got up and said, okay, we got to do something about this. Chicago cannot be without its own alternative station, and I'm still waiting on somebody to change their format or something like that to put it back on the FM dial, the alternative format. But in the interim, I created a internet radio station called Alternativechicago.info. I started it up just using my own alternative music library, my own voice, and some equipment. I mean, this is basically Alternativechicago.info. It is a Dell computer with a radio automation system. Most radio stations have automation like this. And it plays music, mostly at random. And in between songs, it plays my voice saying, yeah, you're listening to AlternativeChicago.info, like most other radio stations do. I've done internet radio like this before many times. I've done various different formats. I've done oldie stations trying to target my own community. We're in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which a lot of people actually from Q101, such as Sherman and Kenosha Brad, a lot of others, they came from Kenosha. A lot of people here listen to Q101 and to some extent WLUM in Milwaukee. But Q101 was a major piece of radio, and I wanted to try to fill a void. I know I'm never going to be able to bring back Q101, but I wanted to fill a void. And I wanted to do something for the Chicago listeners, and I cannot believe what happened here. I started this radio station around the 30th of June 2011, right after I heard the news, and suddenly people were flocking to this radio station, this internet radio station, to listen to the alternative music that I play. I play just mainstream alternative music. A lot more variety than the last days of Q101. I'm not ripping on Q101. I'm ripping on the bosses who decided to program it outside of St. Louis. So my goal was to be a better alternative radio station for Chicago, because Chicago deserves it. And I wanted to have a deeper playlist, and we have a deep playlist. None of the songs are too, what should I say, there's a word for it, it's just not in my head, whatever, you know the word. But then came the local artists. I mean, Q101 always had Local 101, which is an awesome thing. I have absolutely no capabilities with the equipment I have to do a local artist show, but I have been astounded by the amount of local artists who have submitted their music for playback on Alternative Chicago. Some of you guys are some of the greatest artists I have heard coming out of Chicago, and you really, really, really deserve the airplay. I've heard Broken Vegas, It Is I believe, An American Dreamer, among many others, the Volans. And we've been playing you guys on Alternative Chicago and with all the regular artists, Unplugged and Reborn. And that's how I plan to keep it. I'm gonna keep local artists in with the national artists, because you deserve to be played on the radio. You are Chicago. You are the future of Chicago music. You are the music fans. And this is why I do it. So first of all, I want to thank you so much for listening to AlternativeChicago.info, for just tuning in and keeping the alternative music alive, just listening to it, enjoying it. And to the local artists, thank you for submitting your music to us so we can maybe, hopefully, spread you out, let other people hear you. You may be like some person making music out of your basement or something like that, and you just want to be heard, and that's what we do. We want you to be heard, so we're gonna play you on Alternative Chicago. We're still accepting music submissions, and I hope that you enjoy this radio station. This radio station probably would not be on the internet right now if we did not get all the support that we had over the past month. It has been amazing. I want to thank you so much. Everybody who has at least tuned in once. All the local bands who have submitted their music. Anybody who has requested a song or dialed 773-770-5344. Call or text us. Listen to us on the TuneIn Radio app. Just whatever. If you've contacted us on Facebook, if you made comments, voted in the polls, whatever. I just want to thank you so much. Not for me, but for the alternative music. That's what I do it for. I do it for Chicago, and I do it for the alternative rock music. Thank you very much for listening to Alternative Chicago, and here's to another great month of alternative rock music.